Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday. The Pran Pratishtha ceremony of Ram Lalla was held on 22nd of January in Ayodhya, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi leading the rituals in the newly constructed magnificent temple. The Prime Minister also unveiled the Ram Lalla idol in the Sanctum Sanctorium at the temple. UP Governor Anandiben Patel, CM Yogi Adityanath and RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat also offered prayers to Ram Lalla during the ceremony. Later, Mr. Modi unveiled a statue of Jatayu on the temple premises and also offered prayers at the restored Kuber Tila Shiv temple. Mr. Modi interacted with Shramjeevis associated with construction of Ram Janmabhoomi later. Switzerland and India have reached a consensus on a free trade agreement FTA after 16 years of negotiations, Swiss Economy Minister Guy Parmelin said. After Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal's last-minute invite, Parmelin travelled to India directly after the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. An outline of the deal was agreed and officials are working to finalize the details, Parmelin said. "60 Parachute Field Hospital in Uttar Pradesh has been selected for the Subhash Chandra Bose Apada Prabandhan Puraskar 2024 for its excellent work in disaster management. The centre has instituted the annual award known as Subhash Chandra Bose Apada Prabandhan Puraskar to recognize and honour the invaluable contribution and selfless service rendered by individuals and organizations in India in the field of disaster management. The award is announced every year on 23rd January, the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. The award carries a cash prize of 51 lakh rupees and a certificate in case of an institution and 5 lakh rupees and a certificate in case of an individual. The institute had provided medical assistance during Uttarakhand floods in 2013, Nepal earthquake under Operation Name Maitri in 2015, and tsunami as part of Operation Samudra Maitri in 2018. Recently, in response to 7.8 magnitude earthquake in Turkey and Syria in February last year, the unit rapidly assembled 99-member team and established India's pioneering Level 2 medical facility in Turkey, overcoming resource constraints and language barriers to set up a 30-bed hospital in Hatay Province School building. Two-time Bihar Chief Minister Karpoori Thakur will be conferred with India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, posthumously. The decision comes in the eve of 100th birthday anniversary. Thakur, who served as Bihar's Chief Minister in 1970s, played an important role in the implementation of quotas for backward classes in the state. Thakur, popularly known as Jananayak, passed away in 1988. A Chinese research vessel, Xinjiang Yang Hong 3, is on its way to Maldives, according to an Indian military official and an independent researcher, as new Maldivian President Mohammad Muizzu deepens ties with Beijing, distancing from New Delhi. It is likely to raise concerns in New Delhi, which has previously viewed the presence of such vessels close to its shores, including in Sri Lanka in 2022, as problematic. These vessels are not military ships officially, but India and others worry about the military use of these research ships. Relationship between the traditional friends of New Delhi and Malé have sourced since said President Muizzu took office in November, riding on an India Out campaign. Both New Delhi and Beijing vie for influence on the tiny Indian Ocean island nation, but the new government in Malé is pivoting towards China and has asked India to withdraw its troops, nearly 80 of them stationed there. What is Quishing attack that government has warned about? The government has warned people against Quishing attack and said, beware of online scams. Quishing is essentially a form of phishing attack that cleverly uses QR codes to trick users into visiting malicious websites. When users scan malicious codes, their browser goes to the websites indicated by the QR code, the government said. The Indian Air Force conducted Exercise Desert Night in collaboration with the French Air and Space Force and the United Arab Emirates Air Force on Tuesday this week. These aircrafts operated from Al Dhafra Air Base in UAE, the Defense Ministry said in a statement. The main focus was on enhancing synergy and interoperability between the three air forces, it added. NATO has launched its biggest military exercise since 1988 with 90,000 personnel taking part in the drills across North Atlantic and Europe. The drills will rehearse NATO's execution of its regional plans, the first defense plans the alliance has drawn up in decades, detailing how it would respond to a Russian attack. Troops from United States and fellow NATO allied nations are due to join the Steadfast Defender 2024 drills that will run through May. More than 50 ships from aircraft carriers to destroyers will take part, as well as more than 80 fighter jets, helicopters and drones, and at least 1,100 combat vehicles including 133 tanks and 533 infantry vehicles will take part in this exercise. United States Alabama executed convicted murderer Kenneth Smith by using nitrogen gas in the world's first known usage of the method. The United States called it its new protocol, the most painless and humane method of execution known to the man. The United Nations human rights expert and the lawyers for Smith had sought to prevent it, saying the method was risky. NASA's Ingenuity Mars helicopter rotor blade had sustained damage during its Flight 72 landing, after which it had lost communications with NASA last week. The Mars helicopter is no longer capable of the flight after a nearly 3-year-long mission, NASA said, sharing images showing the motor blade damage. The agency also shared a video tribute for the helicopter honoring its legacy. In a significant development, India and Saudi Arabia is all set to conduct first edition of a joint military exercise called as Sada Tanseek, to be held from January 29 to February 10th in Rajasthan at Mahajan Field Firing Ranges in Bikaner, Rajasthan. The exercise aims to enhance synergy, interoperability, and jointmanship by learning and sharing the best practices between the armies of both nations. The joint exercise will focus on counter-terrorism operations under United Nations mandate. During the exercise, the participants will take part in the joint planning, operations, tactical drills, and provide opportunities for the field commanders and troops to interact. And now for the segment where we see the events that unfolded itself this week back in history. 21st January 1976, first commercial Concorde flight, generating a sonic boom as it traveled through the atmosphere at a supersonic speed. The Concorde, a commercial aircraft built with funding from the British and French governments, began regular service this day in 1976. 22nd January 1973, Roe v. Wade ruling. On this day in 1973, the United States Supreme Court issued one of its most momentous decisions, ruling in Roe v. Wade that a Texas statute criminalizing abortion in most instances violated a woman's constitutional right of privacy. 23rd January 1997, Madeleine Albright sworn in as US Secretary of State. On this day in 1997, Madeleine Albright, who had earlier served as US Ambassador to United Nations, assumed under President Clinton the office of Secretary of State, becoming the first woman to hold that cabinet post. 24th January 2004, Opportunities Mars landing. Launched in mid-2003, the six-wheel robotic rover Opportunity landed on Mars this day in 2004 and, like its twin rover, Spirit, which had landed on January 3, analyzed rocks and soils and relayed pictures back to Earth. 25th January 41 CE, Claudius affirmed as Roman Emperor. On this day in 41 CE, Claudius I, who extended Roman rule in North Africa and made Britain a province of Roman Empire, was affirmed as emperor, raised to the post one day after the murder of his nephew Gnaeus Caesar. 26 January 1788, first European settlement in Australia. On this day in 1788, Arthur Phillip, who had sailed into what is now Sydney Cove with a shipload of convicts, hoisted the British flag and established the first permanent Europe settlement in the continent of Australia. 27 January 1973, Vietnam War ended. The Paris Accord, ending the Vietnam War, America's longest war to that time, was signed this day in 1973, providing for an exchange of prisoners and for unilateral withdrawal of US forces from South Vietnam.
Well, that's all, friends, for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.